All right, give us a little history of Farmers. Where did it start?
Farmers, what's farmers?
Farmers, the very first Farmers. Tell us, give me some history of Farmers.
Question calls for a narrative, and the word farmers is vague and ambiguous in the subject of what you're asking, in the context of what you're asking.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, someone decided to start up an insurance entity. What happened with respect to these organizations?
Same objection.
Of the defendants here, which one was first organized?
Of all of Farmers.
Well, that's too
Overbroad.
broad.
Do you know who first started anything that pertains to Farmers Insurance? Do you know, was there a founder?
Which question would you like him to answer, ma'am?
I can speak to one of the entities, if you'd like me to speak to one of the entities. That's easy for me to do. But when you talk broadly, I would be speculating on what you're trying to answer. Ask me, I mean.
When you became trained and familiarized with your job at Farmers, did you learn about the origins of the company?
I learned about the origins of each exchange.
So you didn't, did you learn about the original nucleus of the entities?
Well, it's vague and ambiguous. It's also argumentative.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying when you talk about nucleus. I don't understand that.
Where did it, who started it?
Mr. Morris, why don't you do this? Why don't you take each entity and tell counsel what you know about how it was started, when it was started, and where it was started.
No, I don't want to know that right now. I just want to know, did you not learn at the in the beginning there was blank?
Form. Karen, I think I think you've got to really address it exchange by exchange. I mean, other than that, it's such an open-ended, vague question.
Well, I think I'll just go down this line so that we can see if there is an end to this or if we just have to do it the other way. But I would like to know, is there in a beginning with these groups?
He can answer your question. He's not going to adopt your testimony or your argument.
Doesn't have to. I just want to know.
Okay, go entity by entity, Mr. Morris.
Go ahead and what?
Go entity by entity, Mr. Morris.
I don't want to go entity by entity. I
That's
just
the way
want
he's
to
going
know.
to answer. That's the way he's going to answer.
I can answer your question.
If you can't answer my question, then that's an answer in and of itself. My question is there a place where all of this started?
Form. I think he's asked and answered this.
I can't answer that question.
You need to wait till they're done objecting before you answer.
I'll answer it when I'm ready to answer it.
Well, for the court reporter and for how we're doing it.
I understand what you're saying.
Only one person. Try to only do one person at a time for her sake.
My apologies, court reporter.
So, when you took on this job and all of these responsibilities that you have, did you ever learn where all the Farmers entities sprung from? Was there a common denominator?
Question's argumentative.
I learned when each entity was formed.
Did you learn if there was were they formed simultaneously or were they formed consecutively or both?
One entity was formed, then another entity was formed at a different time.
Okay, so of all the entities that are Farmers, when was the very first entity formed?
Object to the form of the question. It's vague and ambiguous.
I guess when you talk about farmers, it's so broad. I can speak to a particular insurer, or I can speak to Group Inc. I can speak to each of the three exchanges if you'd like me to, and I can speak to Farmers Group Inc. if you'd like me to as well.
Of all of those that you've just listed, which one came first?
I believe Farmers Insurance Exchange was organized in 1928.